Hey spooky family, welcome to a new series called This versus That, where I tell you about a movie that you should watch instead of the one that's out right now. Being the Disney fan that I am, of course I went and saw Snow White the other day. It was abysmal. And it really got me thinking about other adaptations of Snow White that I like so much better. And then the clock app gods shone down on me and literally gave me clips of it today just out of nowhere. And I was like, you just read my mind. So first off, let's talk about what didn't work. So I'm actually going to focus on three sins. The first one being the costumes. You guys knew I was going to comment on it. Now I will give them a half a point. It's very small on the color theory. I really appreciate it because at the very beginning of the movie, everything is very saturated. Everything is very bright and vibrant. And then after the queen takes over, everything gets almost dystopian. It's very dark and drab. And like not their costumes, but everything is just very dull, so I do really appreciate that. But they go from trying to be super historical with like the king and queen in the beginning of the movie to then this spirit knockoff with the fucking, with just, it's terrible. The second one, which is just as abysmal, is actually the amount of songs. In 90 minutes, including reprisals and the finale, there are 12 musical numbers. That averages out about a musical number every 7 minutes. And even as a musical theory girl, like musical fan theory person that as I am, it's too much. It's too much. And then the third one is just the characters and acting as a whole. And I am going to throw the dwarves in here in this because the CGI on them is, and I know everybody's already talked about it to death, but it is so distracting because the voices, okay, you can pitch up people's voices, that's fine. And we're going to talk about that in the movie that I'm going to tell you this versus that here in a minute. But the fact, I could agree with Peter Dinklage 100% on this. Like, you took jobs away. You took up to 14 different jobs away from people, maybe even more. All 7 of the actors plus stunt doubles and their costumers and their makeup artists. Like, you took all of these jobs away just to make them CG, to make them more magical. What did they do that was magical? Nothing. Their hands glowed. Okay, you can make people's hands glow, Disney. So, and I'm sorry, like, yes, she could sing, and I'm glad that everybody could sing in this musical and in this movie, but the acting was literally just a lost episode of Descendants. It was Kristen Chenoweth as Maleficent was more entertaining on Disney Plus than this. So that being said, I'm only going to give it 2 out of 4 pumpkins. Now, do I think it is the worst of all the live actions? No. I do still think Lion King takes that cake because it was just boring. I mean, it wasn't even pretty to look at. So I do still, in my opinion, put that in there. And I do feel like they had a lot of original music because the original Snow White doesn't really have a ton. So they did put in a lot of original songs. You know who also had original songs? Let's get into it. And what should you watch instead, my friends and my spooky family? Of course, the 1987 live-action musical with Diane Riggs. Absolutely stunning. Those of you that do not know who Diane Riggs is, let me just give you a little bit of cinema history. She was a Shakespearean trained actress. She did pretty much all of the original Shakespeare movies, like Midsummer Night's Dream, King Lear, Julius Caesar. Those were all her. Okay. But famously, she is also known for being Grandma Tyrell, let her know it was me. Oh yeah, that's our evil queen. So here's a little bit of a clip. This is her singing her villain song, which is just so iconic. And this is where she finds out that she is not the fairest one of all. And please go on YouTube, find out the whole song, but here's a little clip.
Who would have thought that she would be a beauty? Who would have foreseen? It turns me green. So you think that she's more beautiful than me? We'll see. We'll see.
So in regards to the story, this is something that I'm not sure a lot of people realize, is that in the original story of Snow White actually grows up with the dwarves, and she's hidden away for some time. And when the queen does eventually go and finds her and she seeks her out, she actually goes there 3 times. The first time she poisons her with a comb. The second time she crushes her with a corset. And that's when she actually poisons her with the apple. And this is just a moment where I'm just going to shout out to all of the amazing actors who did the dwarves in the movie. They give them all different names, and there's I'll throw that clip in here really quick. But they do this really cute, like lineup where they're telling her all of their names, and they do different ones because obviously it wasn't Disney, it was just Snow White. But I did really appreciate that, and again, like, all of them were just phenomenal.
I look for rocks.
I look for stones.
I look for worms. I look for bones. If it's underground,
We'll make sure that it's found.
make sure that it's found. I dig for tin.
I dig for gold.
I dig for snails under the mold.
And I do understand that like Disney's trying to do like their version of this tale, but I think the thing that just like really, really gets me is like 1987 effects. 1987 effects. Okay, like we're talking like labyrinth quality here. You know what I'm saying? And one of my favorite parts is the mirror actually has multiple faces around it, and all of them are talking to her, and it's such a mental space. And so when she finally thinks that Snow White's gone and she's rid of her and yay me, they're like, nah, and they're all laughing at her. She breaks the mirror and she goes to Snow White's wedding. Well, very similar to like kind of like a Dorian Gray situation. That is where her power is. So she's literally shattering, turning to dust as her mirror is. Oh, it's a horrifying. Just watch. And these were just some of the clips that I was able to find. This movie is just so rich and so beautiful, and especially some of the songs, like especially that like hem 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 cuff cuff cuff. I still sing that, and I forgot where that earworm was from, and I was like, oh my god, memory unlocked.
Add a hem, add a cuff, make it bigger so there's room enough. Hem, 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 cuff, cuff, cuff. Hem, 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 cuff, cuff, cuff.
Dig, 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 dig. Pickety, 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 pick.
I just did a quick Google search, and it does look like the 1987 live action is on Tubi, which is completely free. You can download on any platform, which is great. There's also a DVD release, which is fantastic. Do not believe there is a Blu-ray, but again, DVD is still pretty awesome. You can put that if you don't have a DVD player. PS4 and under, you can pop that thing in and you're good. I know a lot of people aren't doing physical media, but I still believe in physical media. Okay. But anyway, I hope you enjoy this. I'm going to be doing more of these. Let me know some other ones in the comments. Movies that are also coming up, movies that are already out. I'm hoping to do more of this. This was a lot of fun. Anyway, stay spooky. Bye.
I'm getting big, big, big.